It's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Foot Soldier Tommy, and Morphed Raphael, and that was a tongue twister. So the TMNT first appeared in Mirage Comics TMNT number 1 from May of 1984. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first appeared as Kyo-Ryu Sentai Zyuranger in Japan on February 21st, 1992, and then was brought over to America, became Mighty Morphin Power Rangers officially, and appeared on August 28th, 1993. Tommy Oliver first appeared in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episode Green with Evil, that aired on October 5th, 1993. Though this is not the first time the Turtles have crossed paths with the Power Rangers, the books that these figures are based on was released by Boom Studios in December of 2019. And the box art, real quick, is pretty cool. It is a Lightning Collection official box, and back then they were making them to where the side of the boxes had a cohesive theme, and they all looked really cool together. I think they stopped doing that towards the end of it, which is unfortunate. But if you're a Men on Card collector, that's really cool. This will go really well with your actual Lightning Collection Power Rangers. But that's not what we're here to do today. We are here to get these figures free from their plastic prison and see what we think about Raphael and Tommy. All right, so these figures look capital. I mean, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger suits are classic, great on their own, and just very simple, but elegant and beautiful and just awesome. But if you beef them up a little bit, give them a little bit of heft and add a front and back golden shell, and then that just adds more and more to their coolness, which is kind of weird to say out loud because I much prefer the flatter look of the SH Figuarts kind of style of Rangers that they put out years ago, especially over the Bandai America muscled versions where you can see their abs and everything. I don't care for that. You can kind of see some turtle abs, I guess. There's some cuts there, but it's not really obnoxious. And then the musculature is not overdone, but it's just a nice mix of the bulk of the figure as well as some of the detail in the musculature without being too much, is what I'm trying to say. But having said all that, just throw a turtle in a Power Ranger suit, give it a dragon shield, and I'm in. The paint on mine is well done. The colors pop on their own based on the suit design, but the gold on Raph is still cool. It's more striking than Mikey, but not as much as Leo and Don. They just wear it far better, but it still is really good. And then the only other thing in regards to the Turtles that I'm kind of meh on is that due to its size, the Morpher gets messy when it comes to paint and sculpt, and there's not really a lot you can do. I mean, I can see the dinosaur on there, but the rest of it's kind of a mess. But it's better than not having a Morpher there, I guess. So that's something. But I would just like to think at this point we've advanced in action figure technology that we could have made something a little bit better there. But who knows? That might have made them be $80 action figures that you could then find at Ross a year later for $5. But I don't know what it is that makes me love this look for the foot, but I absolutely do. Tommy is so much fun to play with. I don't know why, but I just really enjoy posing this figure. It's kind of strange because they do feel like Hasbro figures, which is not a bad thing. I keep saying it, but all these toy companies, they're not the same. They just have their own uniqueness to them. And so I guess what I'm saying is that I should be very familiar with the type of joints and just the figure composition overall from Hasbro, considering that the majority of the things that I collect are Hasbro 6-inch lines. However, I'm just smitten with this Tommy figure. I don't know why. I love the simplicity of the foot get up that he's in. However, I do wish that there was an emblem of the foot somewhere on the suit, maybe where the knot gets tied around his waist or on the chest or on the shoulder pads, the forehead, really anywhere would have been really cool. But and usually they do that. As I'm saying this though, I guess the comic versions of the foot soldiers don't necessarily have the foot logo adorned on them as much as the Mummy animated series versions did. So there's that, but still it would have been nice to have that. I think that extra little bit of red presumably would have made this figure pop a little bit more, but what we've got is still sufficient. Both figures come with multiple alternate hands, and both figures come with alternate unhelmeted heads, or unmasked heads, I guess, for Tommy. Tommy comes with a sword, a punch effect, and a sword effect. Raphael comes with 2 psi and an attack effect. All right, well, now let's take a look at the articulation you're going to get out of Morphed Raphael. So starting at the head, 360 at the neck. It's got all sorts of wiggle room, which is fantastic. And there's a joint in the head, like the ball joint that it snaps on. And then there's a joint in the neck, which is great. So you got some good range of motion. They can look down quite a bit, and they can look up quite a bit as well, although it does get a little bit impeded by the armor, but so does a lot of the other articulation on this figure. Moving on down, we have the butterfly joint. I guess that's what that's still called. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what it's still called. There in the armpit chest area, as well as the arm going up super high. And you got the 360 at the shoulder, as well as 360 at the bicep. You got double jointed elbows, and you got 360 at the wrist, as well as some joint articulation there in the wrist. Then in the chest area, again, you have the split for the chest ab crunch, whatever you want to call it, and you can get a little bit of wiggle room, but the armor does impede that quite a bit. However, at the waist, you do get what could be 360 if you wanted to do it, but I'm always scared to break my figures, but that articulation is there. However, it might be impeded again by the shell armor down here at the bottom. So moving on to the legs, again, these sculpts on these turtle figures are fantastic for doing Van Damme splits, as I like to call them. And so there is that, and Raphael is no exception. You got thigh swivel at the, the thigh. You got double jointed knees. You also get calf cut, and then you get a ankle rocker, which is always welcome. And they can kick up pretty good as well. So yeah, that's all the articulation you're going to get out of Morphed Raphael. So now let's move on to Casey. Well, I always want to call this one Casey, and I'm probably going to say that a million times in this review, but it's Tommy as a foot soldier. So here we go. Starting at the head, you got 360 at the neck. You get a awesome, like ridiculous range of motion in the neck for them to look up, which is wild. You can see the joint right there. I was not expecting that. And they can look down quite a bit as well, and you get some side to side, which is awesome. They have the butterfly joint here in the shoulder chest area as well, and it looks like it's working excellent. You got 360 at the shoulder if you wanted to, but the little apron bib thing, whatever this is called, gets in the way. However, you probably could bypass it if you were so inclined. The arm does go out a decent amount. And you got 360 at the bicep. You also got double jointed elbows right there. And then you got 360 at the wrist, as well as some articulation at the wrist. So moving on to the chest, you have 360 at the chest where it splits, and you got some rocking right there. So you got all kinds of motion in the chest area, as well as a crunch in the ab area, which is fantastic. And then they also have a very good range of split articulation. I don't know. There's probably a better way to say that. In the legs, you also get a thigh cut in the thigh as per usual. Double jointed knees, you get a calf cut and an ankle rocker. Actually, I should say you get ankle rockers because there's 2 of them, so that's plural. And yeah, I do believe that is all the articulation you're going to get out of Tommy as a foot soldier. Okay, so according to the general consensus, or at the very least my own bias and preference for short turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles usually stand somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 feet tall and weigh around 180 pounds. This figure of Raphael stands at 6 inches tall and weighs about 4 ounces. According to the PowerRangers.fandom.com site, Tommy Oliver stands at 6 foot tall and weighs 167 pounds. This figure of Tommy stands a little over 6 inches tall and weighs about 2.5 ounces. So now let's see how they compare to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here they are with the NECA 1987 animated series Raphael. Here they are with the NECA Return to New York Raphael. Here they are with the NECA knockoff Colored Bandana Mirage Comics Raphael. Here they are with SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Revy. Here they are with Jada Toys Mega Man. Here they are with Hasbro's Marvel Legends Wolverine. Here they are with Mattel's Masterverse Skeletor. Here they are with Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified Storm Shadow. Here they are with Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection White Ranger. Here they are with Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Red Ranger. Here they are with the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 animated series April O'Neil 2.0. Here they are with the Jazzwares Fortnite Beef Boss. Here they are with the NECA Mirage Comics Foot Soldier. Here they are with the NECA 1987 animated series Foot Soldier. Here they are with NECA's Alf. Here they are with NECA's Mirage Comics Splinter figure. Here they are with NECA's Mirage Comics Casey Jones figure. Here they are with Super 7's TMNT Ultimates Donatello. Here they are with Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Goldar. Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, two things that I've loved since I was a child and have always thought it would be really neat for them to mash up and to have like a crossover kind of thing. And Hasbro and IDW came together with this toy and then the comic, and it's fantastic. But I also am talking about them so late because they've been out for a while. But I thought it would be a good time because on my podcast, Turtle Soup Podcast, Turtle Soup Show, whatever you want to call it, we're about to start our coverage of the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers have actually crossed paths officially. And that's in the Ninja Turtles Next Mutation TV show and Power Rangers in Space, if I'm not mistaken. And so, yeah, I thought it'd be, I don't know, kind of fun to try to have this episode released around the same time that we're covering these episodes on the podcast. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, who knows. But let's talk about how awesome these figures are. This line has been an absolute joy to collect. Now, bear in mind, there is some bias because I am 100% the target demographic for this mashup, just as I was for the individual properties at their inception back in the 80s and 90s. Raph is legit, but it's pretty much just a color and helmet swap with the other turtles. And so if you've seen my reviews on those, that's pretty much the same thing here. Still looks awesome. And that's not to take away from Raphael. That's just what happens when you reuse parts. His weapons are cool and they look great. But my favorite thing is when a Raphael figure can hold his sai like he did in the Out of the Shadows game. And then he also holds his sai like that from the cover of the reprint of Mirage Volume 1, Issue 4. And thankfully, with a little bit of work, this one can do it too. Something about him having that guard over the bottom finger and over the top, and he can punch with them. Something about that's just really cool to me, and I just find it a lot more visually appealing than having him just holding the sais just by their handle, either up or down. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But let me know in the comments, which way do you prefer Raphael to hold his sais? So moving on, the unhelmeted head is great and looks just like the other turtles do. I mean, it's definitely a different sculpt and everything and looks like Raphael, but it looks like from the comics and it's really well done. However, again, it's difficult to put that head on, or at least in my experience, I had some difficulty putting that on. So I will more than likely leave that off and just have them helmeted instead because, well, I just really love the whole suit altogether. But it's nice to have the option. And now with Raphael out of the way, the standout for this set, for me, is Tommy. I have to keep reminding myself that this is Tommy and not Casey Jones. Because Casey Jones actually does show up in the books. I think in the second one he does. The second part 2 or whatever it is. And so definitely not Casey Jones. This is Tommy, but it's just something strange about that for me. I don't know why. But also, I don't know what it is about this figure, but I love messing with him. He moves like a Spider-Man figure and just looks so cool. I love this design for the foot. My only complaint, again, is the lack of foot insignia. But as I mentioned earlier, the comic foot soldiers didn't have them that often, if at all. So this is probably par for the course, but still would have made it pop. But regardless, he's still a cool figure, and I guess it makes sense that a criminal ninja clan might not want their name brandished all over the place, but maybe they do. I don't know. What do I know? His sword is simple and cool, and I love how it's sheathed through his belt. The extra hands are always awesome and always appreciated. But again, everybody, I need these companies to default to include a pointing hand, at least just one. If we could have two for options for lefties and righties, like that'd be fantastic. But if we could make it standard practice that we get open hands, like fingers out, one finger's pointed, and then fists, and then holding hands. Those 4 sets of hands, I think, would cover so many bases and would just be awesome. It would make action figure posing and collecting and all that stuff just so much more better. But maybe that's just me. And so overall, this line is great. And if you liked the other turtles, then you're gonna love Raphael. But even though visually he's the least appealing figure in this line, I think that this Tommy figure is one of the most fun figures from Hasbro that I've played with in a while. Like, so much so that I'm super tempted to just get an army of him. But I guess I could only play with one at a time, so that's kind of weird. But I don't know. Like, he's just so fun to play with, and pose and just move around that, like, I don't know. Maybe a few, at least three will do me. That'd be fine. I mean, any more than that's just overkill. But regardless, if you're collecting this line and don't have Raphael, then are you even collecting this line? Of course, you're going to want and need Raphael, so you're going to need this. But if you're not a fan of Power Rangers and want to consider this foot soldier to be Casey Jones, I think the Tommy likeness isn't too far from a Casey lookalike, so you can probably fudge it with that in your own headcanon. Or if you are a fan of Tommy Oliver and need another action figure of a character that is pretty much the face of Power Rangers, you won't be disappointed with this figure, especially with the unmasked head. It's giving green with evil, if I recall correctly, and you can't go wrong with that. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button. If you want to see more from me, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments. Did you like these books? Did you like these figures? Is Tommy Oliver the best thing that happened to Power Rangers or the worst thing that happened to Power Rangers? Do you think I'm wrong in thinking that he looks a little bit like Casey with the unmasked head? And did you have as much fun as I did with this foot soldier figure? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to hear me speak about Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, be sure to check out my podcast, Turtle Soup, where my friend Ryan and I talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 300-something episodes, and 10 years later, still talking about them. And now we are finishing up the last few episodes reviews of Ninja Turtles, The Next Mutation. And we are about to get into the Power Rangers in Space, Ninja Turtles Next Mutation crossover. So if any of that sounds like something you'd want to hear two dudes talking about for hours on end, then be sure to check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. TurtleSoupShow.com is where you can find them on the internet. And also here on YouTube. Just look for us here because that's where we are. And we live stream almost every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So if that sounds like fun, check it out. And until then, else time.